Hey guys, welcome back. We've got another project that we are starting on. Something that I've never attempted, but my dad and I are going to build out a toy hauler. We're starting with a 24-foot enclosed trailer, and I should have already been filming some of this, but got sidetracked, got bored, and started working on this thing a little bit. But I'm gonna take you inside, kind of show y'all what the plans are, and hopefully take y'all along for this project. So let's go inside. All right, guys, here we are. 24 foot. We've started insulating the walls. We are going to insulate the ceiling and all that. But started insulating the walls. We're using styrofoam because we're on a budget. All of the cracks will be spray foamed. Straight out the front end right here. We're gonna have a bathroom sink right here, a toilet. There's gonna be a wall that'll come out midways and go up to the V. That'll be the bathroom. We're gonna do some cabinetry back here in this area. Little sink, maybe like a electric griddle cooktop type thing, overhead cabinets, AC. Gonna do the lighting, all LED lighting, 12 volt. Do some sort of a Murphy bed over here on this side. We should come out to about, I don't know, about where that plywood ends. And the rest of this, so the back 20 foot will be toy storage. And we're gonna do E-track in the floor, E-track along the walls. We're gonna paint the walls, try to make it as nice and livable as one can on a budget. We're going to epoxy the floors with the speckle. Gonna put some anti-slip on the drop gate. So I'm gonna take y'all along with me. Let's go and get the front of the walls, the rest of that plywood down, and put up those last few pieces of insulation. All right, we got everything down on the front. Now, let's go in there and take some measurements, cut those last few pieces. May have to get y'all to help me remember these measurements. So, 18 and a half. 18 and a half. So 2 18 and a halves. 20 and a half. 20 and a half. So 2 18 and a halves, 2 20 and a halves. That's 71. 18 and a half, 20 and a half by 71. Y'all gonna remember that? Because I know I won't. I did just notice that. Let me just take y'all with me. We're gonna have to seal all of these before we put that foam board up. Not that one. That one will be okay because I can seal it afterwards. But these other ones right here are gonna have to be sealed before we put the foam board. So let's get those sealed up, and then we will cut the foam board and continue our little project. So we're just gonna put just a little bit back there. That'll squish out. Like I said, we're not using a lot. Just enough to kind of fill in that gap right there. Now, I don't want to say anything bad about this manufacturer because it is a budget trailer, but the craftsmanship has been pretty bad. Pretty bad. But it's a budget trailer, so you kind of got to expect some of that kind of stuff. So, what was those measurements again? Because I've done forgot them. So, let me go back again, grab my tape measure, measure 14 times, cut twice. I got my little, I forgot my tape measure. This is why projects take so long. Because I'm sure that most of y'all know, whenever you're about 3 hours in on a half-hour project, you realize that that's going to be the best 3 weeks of your life. So, 18 and a half and 20 and a half times 2. Alright, so make sure we got everything. We got 18 and a half and then 20 and a half times 2 should be what we need. Of course, I did forget the height measurement. I think it was 73. Nope, 72. No, I'll just go remeasure and then we'll cut. All right, we went and got our measurements again, and it was 71. 71 inches. So, let's cut some foam, styrofoam. It's not that big of a deal, peoples. What did I say? 20? 18 and a half. You know, they say the second thing to go is the memory. Not sure what the first one was. 18 and a half. Huh, get off me. 18 and a half. Got to make sure the calculator's right. I know what the number is, but I just want to make sure that my calculator is right. That's exactly right. That's what I had, was 37. 37 is what I had too. So that's, I guess Apple did pretty good on their calculator. They got that one right. Just like that. Pretty simple. Now let's go install it. The method that I'm using to install these is we're putting a little bit of adhesive back behind them, just enough to hold them to the wall and cushion a little bit of the the flexing of the wall. And then we'll put a couple of pieces of tape on it, which will hold it in place until we put the wall back up. Just like that. It actually fits in there pretty nicely. Just stuff in one side. Push it down in there. Just like that. But before we do the other side, let's hear a message from today's sponsor. You know, it's always hard to cook for just one person. You always go to the grocery store and you buy way too much food, and then you end up either cooking too much, or it gets ruined, or it just rots, you know. So today's video is sponsored by Mom's Kitchen, the place that you go when they're not home and you rob their fridge and you use all of their food. So thank you, Mom's Kitchen, for sponsoring today's video. Now let's find something to eat. What we decided to go with here at Mom's Kitchen is fried egg sandwiches and cheese. So we got a egg and cheese sandwich, but I would have done bacon, but the owner of this establishment was not here to cook me bacon. And I know what some of y'all were saying. You're a grown man. You should be able to cook your own bacon. And you're right. I agree with that. But we're going to eat, and we're going to get back out there. And before I do that, I would like to point out a few things. Pretty much all of the walls are done, as you can see behind me. And part of not knowing what you're doing is you get to do things several times, which is fine. But what I should have done to start with, and I thought about this a couple of times, but I don't know why I didn't do it, but I'll do it now. But what I'm fixing to do is all of these gaps, I'm going to go ahead and get those spray foamed. And while that's curing, I'm going to get all of this plywood and put it back where it goes. I'm not going to attach it. I'm just going to put it back where it all goes, mark it, and then take it all out. And probably going to do the floor next. Hey guys, drop down in the comments and leave a comment and just tell me, if this was your build, what amenities would you add? Specifically, what kind of LED lights? Would you do the honeycomb lights, or would you do like light strips? I know I don't want to do the rope lights, but I'm leaning toward the honeycomb. But just curious what everybody else out there would do. I know what I said I was going to do, and like I said, whenever that you don't know what you're doing, you may do it 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 12 times. So what I've decided is, now that I've gotten the majority of the stuff out, and I put everything back where it goes, so I know where it goes, and I've numbered it. Instead of handling this wood twice, I'm just going to go ahead and put the bottom run back on. Excuse me. Because none of my outlets are going to be below 4 foot. They're all going to be at above 4 foot. Partially because we'll use a lot less wire. And I can go ahead and put this bottom back on. Question number 2. Would you go with a rooftop AC? Would you go with a window mount AC like you see on some of the new campers that are out there? Just a little window unit that's on the inside. Or would you go with one of those room ACs that are on wheels that you just hook up some ductwork? So drop a comment down below. Tell me what you would do for just a temporary overnight type situation. I know what you're probably thinking to yourself. You're probably thinking, Self, why didn't he just go ahead and put in all of these screws in the middle, being that he was already there? Like I said, this is not a very well-built trailer. You can see the gap right there. And I may have to take that one down and redo it because it's just terrible. The majority of these screws right here, like this one right here, they actually almost pulled the head of the bolt through the wood. So these will all be covered up with trim, all these. And then we're going to come back and paint it. And then I'm going to get some fender washers and put behind the screw heads to give it a little bit better look. But at this point, we need to thank our second sponsor. All right, guys, you've all been there before, even me. You're outside working, you get hot, you get parched, and you think, man, if I only had something to drink. Well, we're going to thank this segment's sponsor, Mom's Kitchen. More specifically, Mom's Fridge, the place where you can always go to know that you're going to have some kind of a drink, maybe even some kind of a snack. Today on the menu at Mom's refrigerator is Dr. Pepper. And like I said, you can always find a good snack. So thanks Mom's Kitchen for Dr. Pepper and Nutty Buddy. There's actually 4 sponsors for this video. So let's go ahead and get those other 2 out of the way. And all you single guys out there, you know how the struggle is. You're outside working, you get done at the end of the day, and it's just so nice to come in and lay down on fresh, clean, crisp sheets. So that's why we're going to go in today's third sponsor, my washer and dryer, because nothing beats nice, clean smelling laundry. Somewhere in here, there's a laundry ball. Had made its way inside a pillowcase. How does that even happen? Then your blanket gets somehow folded up inside of the washing machine. Are there trolls in the washing machine that do that for you? And an extra tidbit of information for you guys out there. Buff City does not sponsor, but they have very good smelling laundry detergent. Give it a try. You'll enjoy it. So, let's go, while we're here, let's go ahead and go over the 4th and final sponsor of today's video. As you can tell, I've went to Mom's Kitchen a few times, but the final sponsor is my couch. That's right, my couch is going to sponsor this segment of the video. And then we'll go back out. We'll go right back out here. We'll go right back inside that sweat box. And now that I've got it insulated, may have to put a jacket on whenever that we go back out there. So we're going to go thank our sponsors at this time, because without them, I wouldn't have the energy to go out and do these jobs. So let's go thank our sponsors for about an hour or 2, and then we'll get back at it. You can see the other half of the dynamic duo took time out of his busy fishing day of catching nothing to come and give me a fan to blow all of those little pieces of styrofoam all in my eyes. I appreciate that. Yeah, about does it for today. We got all of this stuff up. We're going to do a little bit of trimming on this one to get it flush with the other one. But so all of the walls are insulated, and not going to have time today to do the floors. I got other stuff I got to go do. So we'll try to take y'all along on our next day, which will hopefully be tomorrow. We're fixing to pull this under another carport, keep the sun off the top so we can work on doing the insulation on the ceiling. Because right now it's about 4,817 degrees. So we are gonna end the video right now, but we will catch y'all next time.